Hello everybody and welcome back to another video in the Deep Thought series. This one once again talking about stray dogs, and y'all are killing me by not watching these videos. I mean, in fairness, it ain't really you, it's more like the YouTube algorithm. Every time I upload a stray dogs video, it's always in a day where there's like 2 other videos out, and stray dogs is usually the one that gets last, but today it's first, so hopefully it gets the views. Yeah, people on my channel don't seem to be into stray dogs, or the algorithm just don't want to work with stray dogs, and apparently my channel is just not allowed to talk about the greatness. Breaks my heart. Anyway, speaking of greatness, let's go ahead and get into this episode, shall we? And let's start off with one of the first characters we see, and it's that one red-haired dude who I swear looked like the red-headed love child of Yamcha and Hinata from Haikyuu, because I'm sorry, I can't be unconvinced that that's not who that is. By the way, I actually had a moment where I'm like, am I supposed to know who that is? Because I feel like I'm maybe supposed to know who that is. You're not supposed to know who that is. He's a one-off character. Spoilers, he friggin' dies, and we probably will never see him again. I'm kind of okay with that, though. I thought his character was sort of bland. I thought actually most of the characters shown here were pretty bland, with the exception of Fyodor, and we don't really get to see Mori, the goat, but, you know, whatever. He was there, too, for like 5 seconds, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't... The introduction to the kid, I was like, okay, he's probably gonna die or come back later, and I'm pretty sure the dude's just straight up dead. But we will get into how he died, because the way he dies is cool, but the character himself wasn't really doing much for me. What was doing a lot for me was that OP. What in the hell? The backtracking, it looks so like the way the camera panned backwards across all these familiar landscapes where we see the characters sort of moving around in the background. It was just, it just looked dope. And also, speaking of the OP, I'm sorry, did I see my boy? Did I see Fitzgerald there for like 5 seconds? Is he alive? Did he not die? I'm pretty sure he's dead. Is he dead? I mean, I don't even know at this point. Don't spoil me. I swear, if somebody's gonna be like, actually, he is dead, or actually, he is alive, I will stab you in the face with words. Not with words, probably with a ban. I ban people who spoil things. I don't know if I've ever established that. So, yeah, spoil and die digitally, amigo. But also, like, if my boy's back, I'm gonna be pretty happy about that. Fitzgerald was just dope. I miss him immensely. I feel like his character was maybe taken too soon, so if he is back, I'm not against that. And shout out to the OP for letting me know that he's okay. And also, he can, marry me if he feels like it. But enough about the OP. We gotta talk about the man himself, Fyodor, aka basically Russian Dazai, because that dude steals the whole episode. Any scene with him in it is dope. Any scene without him in it is meh. Because he just steals the show. He's basically, yeah, like Russian Dazai, like, he doesn't necessarily want to kill himself or anything, but he just has that sort of like smugness to him that like Dazai, and he has the calculating mind like Dazai. He's just very this sort of calculating, like to the point where the way he tricks Ace, who we'll get to Ace, but the way he tricks Ace is so clever. Like, I genuinely thought we were like that was his ability, because I mean, I don't remember if we saw his ability, quote unquote, in Dead Apple, but yeah, I was just like, oh, maybe his ability is that he can just create reality marbles, essentially. And I thought that's what was happening, and then for him to be like, no, obviously not. I broke the clock, I stuffed the cork into the key so he would think that the key was like, that the door wasn't opening, and I just memorized all the scratches on the top of the cards, which the amount of like brain power, like the amount of absolute cleverness it would take to memorize the scratches on the back of every card that they put. Like, what? When did he even find the time? Like, he was playing poker when he was looking at those cards. Like, my God, it almost breached into like, I don't believe you levels of so smart, but at the same time, the way that the character holds himself did make me genuinely go like, yeah, of course he could. Of course he could. He's Russian Dazai. He's Russian Sherlock. But on the complete opposite end is most certainly not Moriarty to his Sherlock, because we had Ace in this episode, who I don't know or care about, and he has a kind of cool power. Basically, anybody who wears this sort of like choker necklace thing that he has, he can turn them into gems. Like, he can basically take the remaining years off their life and turn it into gems, which is like kind of a cool ability. Not even kind of. That's a dope ability. It's just the fact that it's attached to somebody who is kind of an idiot. And when I say kind of, I mean really, really dumb. Yeah, I was not impressed with Ace. Ace as the antagonist, quote unquote, because they're both villains. And the love child of Yamcha and Hinata definitely addresses that. Like, these two are both, Fyodor and Ace are evil. So it's a villain up against a villain, but to the point, but Fyodor is beyond evil. And he even says, like, he is something beyond the human comprehension of what evil is, which kind of blows my mind that they're making Dostoevsky so gosh darn evil in this, like, that he's so, that the character is so nefarious that it goes beyond the comprehension of mortal man. It's pretty intense. So compare that to Ace, who is just a gambler and an idiot. I don't even know what his author is based off of. From what I gather, it's a play of some kind. I don't know. I don't know, nor do I care, because the character's dead, spoilers, and kind of goes out like a punk. So it's like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. But I don't care if Ace sucks, because it made Fyodor look like a beast, and it was impressive. And the fact that the kid's like, oh, you're after the gems, you're after all the money, and Fyodor's like, money? Bro, what? I'm after the little names, like the names of all the Port Mafia crew that this dude kept with all their abilities. So it's like, oh, snap. Like, the fact that he knows that and is going to be able to, like, use that to his advantage, that's pretty dope. That's really clever. I appreciate that. And just the episode as a whole is dope. Mind you, the story is all over the place, because in the last episode we were in a flashback. Are we still in that same time period, or is this later, or is this present, or it must be present, but maybe it is earlier? I don't know. As with all things in Bungo Stray Dogs, I just kind of roll with the punches when it comes to, like, the storytelling, because it's sort of told, like, not in chronological order a lot of the times. So at this point, I've just learned to be like, all right, yeah, okay, we're here now. Dope, cool. The best part of Stray Dogs is the character interactions. The story's dope when you look at it, like, when you think about it in terms of linear, but the fact that it's told non-linear keeps you on your toes. So while I enjoy the story, I can see the story of Stray Dogs kind of turning some people off, because it's sort of like, first we're here, and then we're here, and then we're here, and then we're here, and then we're here, and you're not super clear on where here is. However, I will say that I do have a negative. One tiny negative, because again, I'm not counting, like, the quote-unquote villains of this episode being a negative, because they were meant to look inept. But to me, the real issue I had with the episode is it's a bit too dark in terms of visuals. And keep in mind, I'm coming off Game of Thrones episode 3, no spoilers, but most people couldn't see anything. So for me to say that it's a little bit dark is, you know, saying something. There is not that it's, like, so dark that I can't see. It ain't Game of Thrones season whatever 8, 7 friggin' whatever Battle of Winterfell levels of dark. It's just like, would it kill somebody to turn a light on in that room? Just a little one, maybe? No? Okay. The one thing I do really want to address is Fyodor's ability, because I'm not entirely clear what it's meant to be. Mind you, I have a better idea of what it's meant to be than something like, say, King of Crimson, because it's not, Fyodor's ability doesn't just work, you know what I'm saying? Fyodor's ability is basically, like, from what I gather, an insta-kill move if he touches you, which is insta-kill way too OP, please nerf, but, like, I have a thought on what it could be. Now, if you're a manga or light novel reader, don't tell me. Again, me speculating is just me speculating. If you know, just do the whole, like, interesting, very interesting. Don't say anything. But if you also want to theorize with me, and you're like me, you're an anime only, then let us theorize whilst the light novel and manga fans cackle in the background, because they know whether we're right or wrong. So here's my thought, right? Considering that it's Dostoevsky, I'm assuming that it's going to have something to do with crime and punishment. So my guess is that maybe it functions sort of like Ghost Rider's penance stare. Now, for those who don't know, Ghost Rider has this move. Ghost Rider is the guy with the flaming skull, rides a motorcycle from Marvel. He has this move called the penance stare, where he, like, grabs you and he, like, makes you look into his eyes, and you feel all the pain that you have inflicted onto other people all at once. So my thought is that maybe it's like the penance stare, only he doesn't have to look at you, he just can touch you, and that happens. But I also think it's, like, more of a chill version of it. So my guess is that he's punishing people with their crimes and then absolving them, leaving them mostly kind of content to die, as we see with the love child of Yamcha and Hinata. Now, that's a pretty friggin' intense ability if that's what it is. Now, because even the penance stare in Marvel Comics is like an intense ability when you think about like what that would mean for a person going through that. Can you imagine if the penance stare happened to somebody like Frank Castle? Anyway, enough talk about Marvel. I'm just saying, like, it's interesting. Ooh, I just got a thought. What if one day Stray Dogs does like comic book writers? That'll never happen, but it'd be dope. I need fan art of what Stray Dogs version of Stan Lee would look like. I need that in my life. Somebody please draw that. But yeah, that's my guess at what Fyodor's ability is. Maybe it's not gonna be Crime and Punishment. I'm just guessing that it's Crime and I mean, let's be real, it's probably Crime and Punishment. I'm gonna look this up. Maybe I shouldn't, just for fear of spoilers. You know what? I will let this will be the one spoiler I let slip. Is it Crime and Punishment? Have they named his ability yet? Is it Crime and Punishment? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know. However, that's gonna wrap things up for yet another episode of Deep Thoughts. This one, hopefully this is the episode that lands for Stray Dogs. I just want Stray Dogs to be successful on this channel so I can talk about it. And if you enjoyed today's video and you want to be super rad, go ahead and hit that like button, maybe hit the subscribe button if you want to stick around, become one of the good ones. Yes, that's what you're called if you're subscribed to this channel, one of the good ones. But of course, I do have to shout out the people on Patreon, aka the T-Squad. In particular, gotta give a big shout out to the folks in the Earl Grey tier, namely Omner Garamond, Veridin, Tristan, No For Nothing, Urza, Caden Fate, Gabriel, Dominic, Sipco Games, and Opinionated Slime. And before we go though, everybody, I want to leave you with a haiku because Senryo Girl has completely reignited my love for haiku. So here we go. Dear Studio Bones, these episodes are so dope, but at sushi when?